Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. Welcome to Good Morning Uganda Agenda. I'm Robert Chirabo Nyonyitoro, but just a humble reminder that we are always here from 6:30. The mighty four, they're here and they kickstart your day with a lot of laughter, yet very informative way of kickstarting your day, because you're able to know what is happening locally, you're able to know what is happening internationally, and of course we wash off the stress of the night, no matter how heavy it was or pressing it is, so you can't afford to miss us every morning from 6:30. Now, in this particular segment of the show, we usually have a guest or guests with whom we discuss issues of national importance. Now, this morning, we are going to be discussing skilling and capacity enhancement of commercial officers. You know, we have these officers at districts, we have them, and their main aim is to see various government programs, how they can be perfected, most of those that involve monies, and we all know that government releases monies only through a cooperative model. Many of you call it circles, and you forget that circles are a form of cooperatives. So Uganda Cooperative Alliance embarked on a journey to sensitize, to educate commercial officers to enhance their capacity and build skills on how best to do their work through the cooperative model. And I'm joined by Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance. You're most welcome to the show. Good morning.
Pleasure being here. Good morning, our viewers. Good morning, all Ugandans. I'm happy to be here, and I'm always grateful. I love UBC, and I appreciate the board and management of UBC for giving us this time to educate Ugandans, to share as cooperators. I thank you.
Now, to begin with, when we talk about skills and capacity enhancements of commercial officers, Ivan, what exactly is Uganda Cooperative Alliance doing?
Thank you so much. Uganda Cooperative Alliance, being the umbrella body for all registered cooperative societies in the country. And currently, when we talk about the registered cooperatives, we mean those cooperatives that are now over 45,000. There are so many. And they fall in all sectors of the economy. Talk about financial cooperatives, these are circles. Agricultural production and marketing, like the Bugisu, those unions, Bugisu, Masaba, Chibinge, East Acholi, West Acholi, Banyankole, so many. Talk about energy, talk about transport, talk about housing, talk about water and environment. So there are so many, and moving from the primary up to the apex level, where the primary societies are formed by individuals, then you move to the secondary level, which are formed by primary societies, then the tertiary, and then from there, when you combine the secondary cooperatives and the tertiary cooperatives, then you form Uganda Cooperative Alliance, which is the apex body. Now, before I come to that, Mr. Chirabo, I want to thank the government of the Republic of Uganda for really adopting the cooperative model, because this is the only model that will take us to the promised land. Forget about the other models. The other talk about capitalism. Capitalism will not help this country. Why? Capitalism supports a few at the expense of majority. And this is what the colonials want, because for them they know they are head of Africa. So they will always champion a model that will favor them. A model where their own companies will come and exploit us. So the only model that will liberate this country and Africa in general is the cooperative model. Because the cooperative model is the one that the Europeans have used to develop their economies, the Americans have used, the Chinese, the Koreans, globally all of these economies that have grown, they use the cooperative model at home. But when they come here, they teach us capitalism. So they have their cooperatives which are very strong. Take an example of Netherlands. You will find in Netherlands, Friesland Campina is a direct cooperative, but has formed multinational companies, and they are operating in over 140 countries. So outside, they are taken to be companies. But at home, they are cooperatives. So they make money, and then they bring the money back to their economies, and the cooperators share this money. So based on the same model, I can't really fail to thank the government, because the government has seen this is the best model. And for us as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, which is the apex body, we really feel that this is something that we must give credit. Now, you cannot have a cooperative model working very well without the foot soldiers. And the foot soldiers in this case are the commercial officers. So the commercial officers are local government staff at the district level. And in this case, we are talking about the district commercial officer, the principal commercial officer, the senior commercial officer, and the other staff within the Department of Trade, Tourism, and Local Development Services. So this is the whole department at the district. And these are people whose role is to nurture, grow, support, strengthen businesses at the district level. And among these businesses are cooperatives. Can you see? These are cooperatives, circles, and all other types and forms of cooperatives. However, we carried out a research as Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and we actually discovered that the majority of these staff have not been oriented in the cooperative model. Well, why? Because you see, previously, some people ask, why is it that the cooperatives previously were stronger than to date? In the olden days, it was a policy that if you are to work with the cooperatives like the former cooperative officers, it was a policy that you must undergo a cooperative course in Chigumba. Why? We come from different backgrounds. Now, I have done the social sciences, but here I'm supposed to support, train cooperatives, but I don't have the requisite skills and knowledge. So ideally, these people should be undergoing such courses so that they really understand. You see, government is focusing on cooperatives through different programs. The parish development model, where they are talking of the PDM circle. They are talking about the Myoga circles. All of these are cooperatives. But have you trained these people for them to clearly understand that these are cooperatives, and hence cooperatives need to operate based on the values and the principles? This is what we are doing as Uganda.
Now that well said, that now you've embarked on training of these officers, what is entailed in this training? Because we know that we have a number of districts and we have a number of commercial officers in these districts. And importantly, like my guest said, government of Uganda, if it is to do anything regarding poverty eradication, poverty alleviation, it is using the cooperative model where we are seeing circles, the parish development circles. When you move all over the country, that is pillar 3 of the parish development model, financial inclusion. Government is not giving money to individuals. It's looking at ensuring that the 39% of Ugandans who are out of the money economy are brought into the money economy through a circle model. Now, when you look at various programs under the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, still you will see that they all entail the circle way of doing things. But important to note is that at the end of the day, the foot soldiers must be well knowledgeable of the circles. And much as we began by what is actually happening, it is very important for people to understand what are cooperatives. When we talk about cooperatives, many will tell you the good old days of cooperatives. Many will look at agricultural sector alone. You see Bugisu, Chibinge, Abanyankole, Kweterana, all these. But at the end of the day, what are cooperatives?
Thank you so much, moderator. A cooperative ideally means an autonomous association.
Now simplify.
Persons, yes.
Let's go slow. An autonomous.
An autonomous, meaning it is independent.
Okay.
It's independent. You don't need to force me or Chirabo to join. It's autonomous. An autonomous association where people come together of persons United voluntarily, nobody forces you. It is independent and people join willingly, free entry and free exit. Of persons united voluntarily to meet their social, cultural, economic, social needs and aspirations. That means you sit together as media people and you ask yourselves, what is it that we want? You are so many in this country. I don't know how many media persons you are in the country. And you have 1,000 now.
Yes.
Now, these 1,000 media personnel, do you know that you have the capacity to start a bank in this country? So that is when now you sit within your meeting and ask yourselves, like we did for accountants. I'm a chartered accountant, a member of the Institute of the Certified Public Accountants of Uganda. One day we were at Hotel Africana, and I posed the question to my fellow accountants. Accountants are not poor people. We have money. So the question was, where is our money? Number two, we are experts in financial management. Why are we managing other people's money that we cannot manage our own money? So based on that, we now sat down and said, we need to have a circle. A circle where I can easily save my money, and I can access a loan that is affordable and appropriate. We went on and formed a circle. Now our circle is very big that you can even borrow up to 200 million an individual. Yes. So you can see the power of cooperation. We are all there struggling. We asked ourselves, where is our money? I did finance. You did ACCA. You did CPA. You are certified. 5 years doing ACCA, plus 3 years university, plus 6 years secondary, 7 years primary. But you are still donating money to someone. Can't you use your brain and you consolidate your money? This is why we did finance. So based on that, we said, no, enough is enough. We formed our circle. Now the circle is big. So that is a cooperative where you voluntarily come together with a common agenda, social, cultural, economic needs and aspirations. Through a jointly owned, you all own it. And democratically controlled enterprise. Democratic control is where you have the power to elect your own leadership. There is nobody who is going to be imposed on you as a body. You sit together, elect your board, elect your supervisory board, and the vetting committee. That's the definition. And the cooperative ideally is based on 4 pillars. It is owned by the members, me and you and others. It is our thing. We own it. It is controlled. We control it because we have put in money. We have bought shares. We are savers in a circle. If it is chibinge, coffee, we bring in our coffee. We aggregate our coffee together and export it and make money. Then you use it, and then finally you benefit from this cooperative. That is the summary of what a cooperative means. Now, this is what most Ugandans lack. Most Ugandans think that a cooperative is set up to get money, free money. You can imagine these days, you hear people saying, let us start a circle. There is a certain donor who has promised us money. That is not a circle. That is not a cooperative. I want listeners to hear this. That is not a cooperative. You do not form a cooperative targeting free money from donors. A cooperative is formed because you have a social, economic agenda. There is a problem that you want to solve together. You are coffee farmers. You want to aggregate your coffee and access the market. You grow maize, but you have been exploited for long. You want it. You are professionals. You are lawyers. You want to provide high quality legal services to the population. You sit together and form a very huge legal firm. That is a cooperative.
Ivan, that said, we have a very funny situation that most of the cooperatives in this country are formed on the wrong foundation, if I'm to go by your explanation. Now you're having district commercial officers. What is it that you want them to do? We must be very honest. Today I've had very many people, including very key politicians in this country, move around, tell people PDM money is there. Form circles and get money. We had the Youth Livelihood Fund. Government has billions of money seated there. Here you are crying of poverty. Form circles, get money. And we've had a challenge when it comes to payback. Some, after getting the money, then they will tell you they were thanking us, remember the Ntandikwa, for electing His Excellency. Others, after getting the money, some politicians tell them, it is your taxpayers' money, eat that money. So much water has gone under the bridge. So what do we do?
First of all, I think Ugandans have not fully internalized the parish development model. And that's why we are having challenges. When you look at the design of the model, the design is okay. However, the biggest challenge possibly was the lack of consultation, consulting people who understand the cooperative model. That is where possibly the problem emanated. Because for you to talk about cooperatives, you need to understand them. You need to understand the cooperative ideology. Why do people cooperate? If we are in this studio seated, if a lion entered here, and Chirabo, you said, Ivan, don't run away, let us cooperate and kill this lion. That is cooperation. But if I just tell Chirabo, you know what? There is something here, there is a donor. Yesterday I talked to a donor and he has promised me money. Let's form and very fast we go and grab it. It will not be sustainable. So the biggest challenge is that Ugandans have not fully internalized the PDM model, but when you have to look at the design, looking at the document itself, and if we were to implement based on that document, surely we would have results. So Ugandans, whenever we are developing such models, let's consult. Let's consult Uganda Cooperative Alliance. We have been there since 1961. I have been in the cooperatives for 21 years, having grown from the cashier of a circle up to general secretary. Even if I did not study, but I have the practical experience, I can really guide you. I can say, here is right, here is wrong. Let's do it like this, such that we have something that is practical. Now, but when still you read through this model, looking at the 7 pillars of the parish development model, it's so fantastic. However, people have now forgotten about the other 6. They are all focusing on pillar 3, saying, where is the money? Which is a misconception. And therefore, as a government, much as you are giving this money to every parish, let's invest a lot in capacity building. Changing, in fact, attitude change or mindset change would have been in pillar number 1. Because the problem of Uganda and Africa in general is not that God did not give us wealth. We are the richest continent on this earth, but with the poor people, unfortunately. Why? The problem is the mindset, the attitude. We continue to donate our wealth. Can you imagine you donate your wealth and the recipient, instead of appreciating you, calls you a beggar? This is something that we must work on. I am exporting my coffee, you get more money, I remain poor, then you call me a beggar, assuming I closed the tap, and I say I'm stopping exporting my coffee. How do you survive?
How will you survive also?
How will you survive? So in other words, the PDM is a good model. However, government invests a lot in capacity building. Let us build the capacities, not only the commercial officers, but let us engage parliament, let policymakers, let us engage all politicians at all levels, let us engage the implementers, because we really, and also the beneficiaries. You know, people are not even aware that you are supposed to get, before you get this money, you must have an enterprise. You must have your cash flows, the inflows and the outflows. All of that, people are not aware. That's why you hear someone who has gotten money and has gone to marry the 3rd wife. Someone who has gotten money, he slept in a bar for 1 week. He could not even realize. So all the money is done. Why? People have not been prepared. So we need to invest money in this capacity building. And that is why, given the support of government, because we requested the government for support in this area, I'm very happy to inform the whole country that the government supported Uganda Cooperative Alliance with a subvention, and part of this subvention is to build the capacities or enhancing the skills and the capacities of the commercial officers. Why commercial officers? These are the food soldiers on the ground at district level, and these are people who are going to support us implement PDM, Emyoga, and other government programs. Now, which areas are we focusing on?
Even before you go to which areas you're focusing on, we have pictures of some of these trainings, but what regions are you covering? Are you going to cover the entire country? Is the training, have you reached halfway? Is it done? So just give us a scope so that my commercial officer watching somewhere gets to know exactly, have they been part of this? Something like that, even before you go to what areas you're focusing at.
Very fantastic. We started with Western Uganda in Mbarara, and we covered it. We went for Potro, that is Midwestern. We have been to Guru for Northern, the entire West Nile, Lango and Acholi sub-regions, plus part of Bunyoro. Then we have covered the Eastern region from Karamoja up, the extreme end, up to Busoga region, that is covered. We are now in the Central. The training started yesterday. It was officially opened by the Minister of State for Cooperatives, Honorable Gume. And most interestingly, wherever we have been with our members of parliament. So the members, I want to thank the Parliament of Uganda. We have a very good parliament, a parliament that is passionate, a parliament that is focusing on the socio-economic transformation of this country using the cooperative model. And very interestingly, in all these regions, because we are now finishing, because we are ending tomorrow with this region, Central region. Central region, we are covering the entire Buganda region and part of Busoga, which is closer to Buganda, and also some other districts that are closer to Buganda, because we wanted, people are so many. In total, we have met over 400. You can imagine, and that is not enough, because in a district, we are picking 2 people, but there are more. But of course, it has budget implication. So in a district, we are picking two people. Then in cities, also 2. Then in municipalities, 1. But we intend to increase the numbers because there are so many. Here we should be looking at almost close to 1,000 people. And everybody is willing. Now, from that experience, given the fact that we have covered the whole country, commercial officers really attest to this. They really confirmed that yes, they were recruited, but they did not go through this orientation process. And yet they play a very critical role in implementing these government programs. So that one shows to us that a lot is needed in terms of capacity building. The other issue that came out vividly is the issue of facilitation. Commercial officers are doing too much work on the ground, but they are not better facilitated. They don't have vehicles, they don't have motorcycles in some districts, and yet they need to cover the whole district. Take an example, if you're a commercial officer for Wakiso, from Entebbe up to this side, how do you expect a person to move? So in order for them to effectively and efficiently deliver, they need facilitation in terms of infrastructure, in terms of funding. So these ones came out very vividly. The other issue that came out vividly is the issue of staffing, that they need a lot of staff because commercial officers are not only focusing on cooperatives, they are focusing on all businesses in the entire district. Talk about markets, talk about cooperatives, talk about investments, talk about capacity building, all that falls under the commercial officers. Now, with that, they need a lot of staffing. Because you see, if we were to really move this country forward, let's focus on business. Countries that have moved faster, they are focusing on businesses. We have a lot of people doing businesses, but we need people to nurture these businesses, to support the businesses. And all of this falls on the commercial officer.
Now that brings me to, in these trainings, what have you been giving to these commercial officers in terms of skills enhancement and capacity?
A lot has been done. First of all, the commercial officers to understand the cooperative ideology.
Okay.
Like I've mentioned earlier. Cooperative ideology, our viewers, is not something that you understand within an hour or a day. You need to really understand, you need to internalize it. What is a cooperative? What are the principles and the values? I will tell you, if I'm just running through very fast, the principles of cooperatives, the first one is voluntary and open membership. It means that cooperatives are voluntary. You enter and then open, there is no ceiling. Then the second one is democratic member control. These cooperators democratically elect their leaders, the board, the supervisory board, and the vetting committee. And even the board appoint their subcommittees in order for efficiency. Then economic member participation. When you are members of a circle, you all need to economically participate. You save, you access loans, you buy shares, pay membership, all that. That is principle number 3. Then you come to autonomy and independence, number 4. Cooperatives are autonomous and independent. What does it mean? They don't need influence, either political, either religious, or otherwise. They need to work independently. If we have our cooperative, then don't interfere with us. It's our business. We own it, we control it, we use it. Then you continue and go to education, training, and information. Members and all people concerned, they need that information. Members need to be told, like, you belong to Chibinge, assuming you're a member of Chibinge. They need to invite you for meetings and they give you reports. And you plan together because this is your business. You need information, what has transpired, what does the market say. All that information, you need it as a member. Then cooperation among cooperatives. It is also very critical. Principle number 6, where cooperatives don't compete. For example, Chibinge in coffee is supposed to cooperate with Ankole Coffee, Banyankole Kweterana, Bugisu, Rwenzori, Okoro Coffee, and others, so that they can now go into the market. Do you doubt competing? Cooperatives don't compete. And then lastly, number 7 is community concern. Cooperatives don't focus on cooperatives, but they focus on community transformation. That's why you see cooperatives, in cooperative reporting, we don't talk of profits. We talk of surplus. Why? Because you are not focused, you are not profit-oriented. Your orientation is service delivery to your members and the community. That's the beauty with the cooperatives. So all that, the commercial officers need to know. Because some of them really confessed during these trainings that they had never heard about cooperatives, they had never heard about principles, but these are the supervisors. What do you do? So they confess that actually we have been there, but we are passing time. However, others are seniors, they have been there, but this training has really shown us, it has proved to us that as a government, we need to invest a lot. Even the members of parliament who have been moving with us, they have really, within their submissions, they have promised that as parliament, they are going to support the budget in ensuring that we put more resources in building the capacities of these people. Second, the other issue that we are focusing on is record keeping, financial accounting, and reporting. You know, moderator, I have told you I'm an accountant. But accountants, we don't study cooperatives.
What do you audit?
That is the question now. We don't study cooperatives.
You audit them as companies?
And yet we are supposed to audit them. So you audit something that you have not studied. I will tell you, CPI didn't study cooperatives. Can you imagine?
Yet a cooperative is different from a company.
Go to the lawyers. Just ask any of these lawyers in the city. How many understand cooperatives? You can imagine, you go to a lawyer, let's say the cooperative has a dispute, very fast they run to a lawyer, the lawyer files and goes to court, which is illegal. Because the law, section 73 of the Cooperative Societies Act, says that in the case of any dispute between a cooperative, a member, an officer, you do not go to court, but rather you go through arbitration. and the arbitration is very clearly defined in the law. Now, what has been happening when there is a dispute, let's say you're a cooperative, I'm a member, and we disagree, I brought my coffee and you are saying you didn't bring the coffee, then the lawyer very fast files and goes to court. Now, there is already a precedence, a ruling by Honorable Justice Andrew Basheja in Mbarara, 2nd of May 2010, which is very clear. It says, do not go to court if, in the case of a dispute, goes through arbitration.
Now,
so
at this point, let me
losing
interject,
cases.
Ivan. Our viewers, you can be part of the topic of discussion this morning by simply sending us a text message or a WhatsApp message on the number on your screen, which is popping up. Use that number to send me a text or a WhatsApp message, and I'll be reading it out. Now, I have one here. Good morning, Mr. Chirabo. What Mr. Asim, the Secretary General, is saying is very important. Mindset change of people has to be worked on. I am Okweri Stephen, Toro District. I like the discussion. The other one says, I wanted to inquire from Mr. Asim, how can I join the Cooperative Alliance? I'm currently viewing from Zana Road. I'm currently viewing from Zana Entebbe Road Airport. Well, thanks for the show. Zana is along Entebbe Road. Thank you so much for being part of it. Then many are saying we need to rebuild, we need to strengthen cooperatives. But let's first go with those two for now.
Thank you so much. I want to thank our viewers. It means Ugandans are really concentrating. You know, Ugandans love cooperatives because it is the cooperatives that are going to liberate us.
Many of them have those, I would like to call them, many of them have been educated, were educated, based on cooperatives, the good old days that some people say of cooperatives, where if I am a farmer, I belong to a cooperative, I wouldn't worry about school fees because I would have taken my produce and then I have a receipt which would work at a school. Life was very interesting in one way or the other. So many of them, when you talk about cooperatives, their minds run very back to those situations, how you would even present this. It was an equivalent of cash. You present it to a hospital, you present it to a school, but today you find that a farmer may have produce, they're seated there, their children are not going to school, and all that. So it quickly goes to the minds of people. However, they only look at one area, agricultural cooperatives. Yes.
You know, first, I want to thank the viewers for their response, and these are very good comments. It really proves to Ugandans that we love cooperatives. So, what do we, it's unfortunate that this young generation, they have not read, because they have not read the cooperatives, they don't really seem not to understand cooperatives better and how they operate. But when, like you are mentioning, when you ask people of the 60s, 1960s there, they have good stories to tell you. Even us, around the 1990s there, cooperatives were still operational. I went with my grandfather, I still remember that scenario. We went to a cooperative society, we took coffee, it was a society member of Wanyankole Kwetera. Now we took a coffee there, and he got a receipt. I still remember it was a receipt. And I asked him, why haven't they given you money? We have taken our coffee, whole bag, and they are giving you this paper. And he told me, no, this is money. And he took this receipt, and it was discounted in the cooperative bank. So I really started loving cooperatives at a younger age. If you talk to these people, I have my uncle. He was educated through cooperatives. He's a very big person in the government. So he tells you the good stories of Kigezi Vegetable Growers Cooperative Union, where the father
are vegetables.
Where now the father would take vegetables, and even if they had not matured, you have just planted, but the son was going back to Kigezi High School, they would just, the society would give a cheat. Please admit, we shall pay. So there was nothing like you are dropping out of school. And people were not exploited because, you know, once you start harvesting and selling through the society pays and the school recovers the school fees. That was as good as that. And members, with this government, and the fact that the government has adopted the cooperative model, let us support. Forget about politics. We have wasted too much time in politics. Someone who comes here and you want to discuss politics all through. That's why I love UBC. Because UBC, you are giving us time to guide Ugandans on socio-economic transformation. Don't ask me about politics here. Because we like wasting too much. Yes, politics is good, but have time for politics and also have time for economic and social affairs. And this is what we are discussing. So, the cooperatives play a very critical role. Moderator, do you know that Germany, France, UK, Denmark, Netherlands, Brazil, Korea, Malaysia, Thailand, all these economies are based on cooperatives. My God, you go to Germany and see cooperatives at village level, these energy cooperatives, supplying electricity, supplying water, both warm and cold water, to homesteads. This is a cooperative. You come here in Uganda, look at a village, instead of cooperating to provide such services, people are just fighting each other, quarreling, such things. Ugandans, it is high time that we move forward. And this one can be done using a cooperative approach. You have talked about the receipt system. If you can talk to these people, for example, Nyakatonzi, they will tell you how they would bring cotton, and then you get a receipt, and this receipt was a cash equivalent. The child would take it to school, you take it to hospital, you take it to whichever. But we are heading there. Do you know why? Now Uganda has got the Uganda Warehouse Receipt System Authority. It has been revived. Now, this system authority is coming in to support cooperatives. Now we are in the digital era. They have acquired the system such that when you bring your coffee to Chibinge like this, immediately they enter in the system. The system will generate a receipt for you. Very fast, the banks will see that Shirabo has brought 1 ton of coffee. Then buyers will see everybody. Now, meaning that you can walk with this receipt. You go to a bank like Centenary or whichever bank, and they are, very fast they will discount, because they have a collateral manager at the society, which is Chibinge, who ensures that the coffee is there and it is of quality. And secondly, the system can show, because we are now in the digital era.
Wow.
This is where, yes, things are really, things are moving. You know, good things are happening.
There's light at the end of the tunnel now.
Yes, good things are happening, but people are not
where
aware.
the middlemen have exploited our farmers tremendously in every aspect. Well, time seems to be flying. We have to move out of here to leave room for the sportsman. Let me have your concluding remark.
Now, I did not, just allow me very fast conclude on some of the areas. The other areas that we are focusing on during this capacity and skills enhancement is the cooperative legal policy and regulatory framework. We want this because these commercial officers are the ones supporting, nurturing these cooperatives at the grassroots. So they need to understand the law, the cooperative laws, because a lot has happened within the legal framework. Bank of Uganda amended the MDI Act in 2003 for bigger circles to be regulated and supervised by Bank of Uganda. 2016, government enacted the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act, where circles needed to be regulated by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority. In 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act was also amended, allowing circles to come to the Register of Cooperatives. All of that legal framework, the commercial officers needed to know. Then there is also the element of record keeping, financial accounting and reporting. Like I was mentioning, most of the people do not understand the accounting framework, the reporting framework in cooperatives, including my fellow accountants. Then we are also focusing on cooperative governance and management. How can we have an effective and efficient governance and management system in these cooperatives? We are also focusing on cooperative audit and supervision, because the commercial officers do the supervision and auditing of these cooperatives. So we have also taken them through, when you are going to audit a cooperative, what are the issues that you are focusing on? The books of accounts, how are they supposed to be prepared? All that we have taken them through. So in brief, it has been a package, but we request the government that let's put in a lot of resources. Now that we have trained a few of the commercial officers, let us upscale and bring the entire system on board. Then we also train the wananchi, the beneficiaries of the PDM, Emyoga and others. We go to policymakers so that all Ugandans really understand the role of cooperatives. It is the cooperative model, I repeat, whether I'm here or whether I'm not here, it is the cooperative model that is going to liberate this country and Africa, because cooperatives promote love. You know, when people love each other, then there is transformation. They promote love, they promote teamwork, they promote cooperation within the entire economy. I
must let you go. There are a number of messages, and Mike Walaba says, I love this officer. He's very informed about cooperatives, but also a very good communicator. A number of people are thanking you here and saying it is the way to go. If we focus on that, then Uganda will reach the, that middle status that we are yearning for. Well, I want to thank you so much for your time, and of course the various cooperators and the district commercial officers that have undergone this training. We hope they will be trainers of others.
Very good.
So that you have a trickle-down effect.
We want them to go down and train others.
Excuse me. Well, I have to leave room for Ruben. He's already here to take you through the world of sports. Have a lovely day.
Thank you.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala. This is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC. Was brought to you by
MTN Momo Pay is the easy way to pay. Dial *165*3# or use the MTN Momo app. You don't need cash. MTN Momo Pay is safe and free.